Hi folks, Hebrew for All, lesson number 15, Shlomo here. I'm your teacher. So we're going to start right away with this class, and for you to be effectively learning this material, you're going to want to make sure that you've seen lesson number 13 and lesson number 14, because both of them are basically prerequisites to having a clear understanding of what I'm going to be doing in today's class. So class lesson number 15, and we're going to be learning how to apply basically what it is that we've been speaking about in the last two classes. Okay, so it starts with a rule, and the rule is the noun and the adjective and the adjective. So the rule is the noun and the adjective must agree in capital G, N, and D. G, N, D. Okay? So obviously we have to explain to you what G, N, D means, and I'll do that momentarily. I just want to call to your attention that one kind of memory device that I've shared with people in the past, just for the three letters, are gross national debt, right? Okay, so the noun and the adjective must agree in G and D. And I think that the best way to learn this, even if it sounds a teeny bit grammar focused, is to start like this. Let's take a noun, and a noun is the name of the person, a person, place, or a thing. And let's take a very popular word, misrad. Whoops, misrad. That's a resh. Misrad. And now let's take an adjective. We'll abbreviate that ADJ. And let's say in Hebrew the concept a large office. And reading right to left across the page, which is what we're supposed to do in Hebrew, misrad gadol. Misrad gadol. And this is going to be called an example of G, which is really the shorthand for gender, which really means masculine or feminine. Okay? So that's an example of the G aspect of the noun and the adjective must agree in G and D. You have to be able to identify the gender of the noun. What's the gender of this noun, misrad? I'm sure you can answer that right away, quickly. The answer is, does it end in a T bar, hey, or tav? Nope. There it is, masculine, and it happens to be singular. Really, that concept of singular is going to be taken care of in the next rule, as it were. What if we want to say large offices? Okay, so it can't be misrad any longer, which is just one singular office. It's got to be misradim. Misradim. And then to have the agreement, the adjective with the noun, the adjective must become gedolim. And that's where we have the agreement between misradim and gedolim. Okay? And it means large offices, big offices. And that is going to be called an aspect of N, which stands for number. Number means singular or plural. I thought what I'd write over here is gender means masculine or feminine. Okay? And last but not least, what if we want to say the large office? So go ahead and take a guess while I'm writing, folks. How are you going to say the large office in Hebrew? And I really suggest you pause and guess, because it'll be interesting to see whether you're guessing correctly. And here it is, folks. My answer is ha-misrad. Ha-gadol. Ha-misrad. Come on, pen. There you go. Ha-misrad ha-gadol. And if that strikes you as a little strange, because it's got the ha both here and here, where in English we only used the word the once, and to say the office, the big, does not sound like very good English. You might not be able to get a job in America if you say the office, the big. So this is quite unique, I believe, to the Hebrew language, and it's called D, and it stands for definiteness. Definiteness is something definite, distinct. Is it the or the? Okay? That's the example of noun and adjective agreement. They always must agree in G and D, and they always point out to people, at least to native English speakers, which is that noun and adjective in Hebrew are the exact opposite order of in English. In English we say big boy, we don't say boy big. Big boy, the big boy, big car, beautiful house. In Hebrew it's always exact opposite, house beautiful, etc., etc. I have one more important thing to add over here. You'll notice that I'm drawing this kind of dotted line, as it were, across the page, because now I want to write, how would you say, what would you say about the following example? Ha-misrad gadol. What's your take on that, folks? So most students in most classes say to me, obviously, that's not Hebrew. And the answer is, that's why I separated it off by that dotted line per se. Ha-misrad gadol is perfect Hebrew. But what does it mean? It means the office is large. The office is big. And notice, folks, period. And that's why the period's there after the Hebrew as well, because this is called a sentence. Ha-misrad gadol. It's not, as a mnemonic device, the ha rule. That funny rule that I call the ha rule. That in Hebrew, if you've got a ha on the noun, you have to have a ha on the adjective. Yeah, that's fine for noun-adjective agreement. Meaning to say that the first three examples on the page, a large office, large offices, the large office, are all examples of something that would be part of a sentence, a phrase within a sentence. A large office in Tel Aviv. There are many large offices in Tel Aviv. The large office in Tel Aviv belongs to my father. But the words ha-misrad gadol, with a ha on the first of the two words, on the noun, and then no ha on the adjective, that's proof positive that we're dealing with a different setup. If I wanted to, I could call it a construct. If I really wanted to, and I would never want to do this, I could go into really the detailed grammar of why Hamisrad Gadol is called a sentence and the ones up above it are not. But this class is never about grammar, so I don't want to do that. What I want to do is leave you with, hopefully, a clear understanding of something that you'll see in almost every sentence that you'll ever use. Maybe that was a bit of an exaggeration. Maybe every second sentence that you'll ever use or read or learn in the Hebrew language. And that is that the noun and the adjective must agree in GND. And you'll see it all over the place. And the rule really works and is helpful. In the upcoming class, I'll try and give you a few more examples to give you more sense of that you're in control of the rule. In the meantime, you'd want to just try to just digest this one. The noun and the adjective must agree in GND. And then there's that little bit of a tricky case at the very end that we brought up here in lesson number 15, which is that if there's a hey on the first of the two words, if it's a noun adjective, then indeed it's a whole different creature. It's called a sentence, and in that particular case, the example would be Hamisrad Gadol. You wouldn't have a hey in front of the word Gadol, and it would be functioning perfectly. Okay, folks, that's all for now. Lesson number 15, in which we've learned about noun-adjective agreement. So you'd want to see the unit 13, 14, and 15 if you need to review that subject to feel more comfortable. Shalom, shalom. It was a pleasure learning with you, and I'll see you in the upcoming lesson.